Well, good Monday morning to you. Welcome to our Monday morning live edition of Healthy Living South Mississippi's Live Healthy, Be Healthy. I'm Jim Tabor, along with Doctors Jim and Janine Fox of Doctors Nutrition over on Cowan Road in Gulfport, just south of Pass Road. We do this every Monday morning, allow you to call in and ask questions regarding things to help you live a healthier lifestyle. Now, usually we have topics, but once a month we have our Open Line Monday, which is today. So if you have a question about anything regarding a health issue or whatever, please feel free to call 896-0713 or 800-349-0713, whether you want to ask them personally or just ask the question to our operator and they'll pass the question along to us. So another beautiful weekend on the coast. Some
Certainly
rain,
was.
a lot of people out there, including myself. A little bit too much time in the sun.
A little bit sun.
Getting a lot of vitamin D this time of year.
Yes,
right?
I did. I got quite a bit of vitamin D this past weekend, but one of the important things is always to use plenty of
Sunscreen.
Sunscreen.
Yeah.
So.
And you know, people talk about sunscreen and a lot of chemicals in some of them. So you want to go to there's a place we usually tell people to go to. It's called Environmental Working Group, or EWG, ORG. And they'll tell you all the
They'll
chemicals.
tell you the best ones to use, because there's even some sunscreens that's been shown to cause cancer itself because of the chemicals in it.
Really?
So they actually say that you want to use certain types.
EWG.org.
Right. So there is a place
sure
that
you
you
put
can
that
go,
down.
and they will tell you which sunscreens to use.
And they'll also tell you about, you know, the contaminants in food and things like
Yeah.
that. They got something called, really kind of cool, called the Dirty Dozen. It's the most contaminated vegetables and foods, and it's really interesting. So
Because there are certain ones that they have to keep bugs off of more, so they spray them heavier, and they have thin skin, so it soaks into the food itself.
Yeah.
I mean, grapes is one of them. I mean,
Really?
yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you go there. They have all kind of good stuff like that, and that's
really
the kind
neat.
of things that people need to know for their health.
Yeah.
Because there are things that actually we use in everyday life that actually affects our health. All the chemicals, the cosmetics. I mean, deodorants. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff.
Yep, that's right. Because of the was it aluminum?
Yes.
The deodorant.
yeah, it's still, that's a big
There
controversy out
is.
there.
I was
about,
reading an article just this morning that was saying that they, because there's always been a controversy on whether, deodorants affect breast cancer. I mean, that's back and forth and back and forth. And they, there was the one I read this morning was just talking about how it's almost always in the upper, so much breast cancer when it's in the upper quadrant, upper right quadrant, it's near the armpits. And they're even saying the aluminum in deodorant can affect the BRCA1 gene. And so it was, I mean, they really have had links to it.
Wow.
So-
So again, write that website down, EWG.org, and as Janine said, you can find all kinds of
All kind of good information.
Oh yeah,
on there,
it's loaded with stuff. I mean, it really is.
Find out which one's good to you. And back to the sunscreen thing, I know a lot of people think about, I want SPF 15, I want SPF 30 or 50, and then you find something that gets up to 100. Now, once it gets that high, I mean, is it really that much more effective? I've heard that if you get up to about 50 really is the max, because much past that, you might get a little bit more protection, but not much.
And that's why you need to go to
EWG.
EWG.org, because they'll tell you it's after about 30 something.
After about 30 seconds,
yeah,
it's
you're
probably
done.
not that much more effective. Yeah.
It's really
Because
not
I
that
use
much more
30.
effective.
That's what I use all the time.
I mean, that's about the
the
most
normal
effective.
that most people. And the zinc oxide's the ones that they're going to say that needs to be the active ingredient.
Yeah.
And you don't want some of the other chemicals with it. So,
Right.
like I said, they'll tell you all that on that website. So that's a place you can go, look, and know exactly which one to get.
All right, we got a question from Betty in Ocean Springs. Says, when I stand up from my sitting position for a little while, I get dizzy. What is,
Well, her blood pressure is dropping.
Yeah.
Most likely.
Most likely.
It's a positional hypotension, they call it.
Okay.
In other words, when you stand up, the blood pressure drops. Takes your body just a few seconds to kind of catch up, and you feel like, whoo,
There can be different reasons for it. A lot of people on blood pressure medication can have that. That could be one of the side effects of the blood pressure medication.
Can be.
Some people can just have where their blood pressure does fall on standing, which again, you have to look and see. Each person's going to be a little bit different, but you always want to check blood pressure in both sitting and standing positions. And there's even some blood pressure issues where the blood pressure falls under stress, and it may not even show up, and just checking it that way. So there's a lot of reasons. We have something called Olivir that really does help with sometimes normalizing the blood pressure, both high and low.
Yeah.
And it really does work well.
Yeah, that and staying hydrated.
Yeah,
A lot of
lots
those
of
people
water.
are dehydrated.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of water.
That's one thing, being out on the water yesterday. My wife and I went fishing and everything, and we were out on the water for about almost 5 hours, as you can tell. So I did keep putting the sunscreen on, but...
You are a little red.
Well, a little bit, because, you sweat that stuff off when you have no breeze or anything. That is one of the things, but drinking a lot of water, that's one of the things. I mean,
Yeah.
I must have drank 5 bottles of water while I was out on the
And during the summer, that's one of the biggest health tips we can give, stay hydrated. I mean,
Yes.
It really
everybody
is.
knows that, but it's not that they do it. I mean, everybody knows, kind of in their head, that they need to stay
And
hydrated.
hydrating does not include beer,
No.
alcohol, because that's
Alcohol,
one of the worst
tea,
things.
Very
Coke, none of that
dehydrating,
does it,
actually.
right.
All right, Carol from Gulfport's got a question for us. Good morning, Carol. What's your question for the doctors?
I would like to know, what is the difference between vitamin D2 and vitamin D3?
Okay, that's a good question.
That's a really good question. D2 is a synthetic, typically, that's used. That's most of your prescription stuff is D2. And it has to be converted into D3 in your body. And how efficient that is, nobody knows. Some people do it very well, some don't. But the D3 is the type of D that your body would make.
Right.
If you stayed out in the sun, that's the kind you'd get.
Now you do want to take D3 because in the last year or two, there's been some really good research come out that D2 can actually make some plaque in the brain. And D3 can actually reverse that plaque in the brain. So to me, I always tell people, make sure you're taking D3. Do not take D2.
Yeah, it's actually, like I say, the research came out about a year, maybe a year and a half ago.
It's
something
been
like
pretty
that, Carol.
recent. So definitely
Really
make sure you
interesting.
take D3.
All right.
So my doctor prescribed 50,000 units of D2
Right.
to be taken for the next 14 weeks.
Right.
Why-
You can get a D3 because a lot of people
Yeah.
don't realize the new research that's come out. We keep up a lot on the new research, and a lot of doctors don't realize that research has come out. So and there is a prescription D3 now too. So you can ask them to change it, or you can get some D3.
Or we can
either
put you
one.
on
But
D3.
I wouldn't personally take D2 myself.
No. And here's another thing too, Carol, just to remember, she talked about the research. Typically, if research comes out today, before your doc, I don't care who they are, doesn't matter where they are, but before they actually start applying that, somewhere between 15 to 20 years.
Wow.
So
All right.
Scary.
Thanks for the call, Carol. Bobby from Van Cleve is on the phone now. Good morning, Bobby. What's your question for the doctors?
What is the best thing to take for leg cramps?
okay, now in most leg cramps, now I mean everybody's a little different, and there can be different things for leg cramps. Minerals tend to be,
Typically.
if you say that the number one thing just generically to take for leg cramps, we actually have something called Mega Mineral that's just a broad spectrum multi-mineral that helps, and then we have one called Muscle Cramp and Tension Formula that also has minerals and some things that relax. So both of those can help, but there's other reasons you can get muscle cramps. It can be thyroid problems, it could actually be medications you're taking. So you got to look at all the reasons on why you might have it, but especially in the middle of the summer, usually it's minerals.
Typically, and you
And
know,
hydration.
And the thing is, everybody always thinks potassium may
Not
not be
always.
potassium. So you know, and of course, you know, they typically then they tend to run out and eat the banana. Well, you get a lot of sugar with that potassium. You're better off with a tomato or something.
Or avocado.
Or avocados, right? It's like 4 times the potassium in an avocado that there is in a banana, and no sugar.
But it
which
can
is what
also
color.
even be salt, believe it or not.
Sodium.
Now, we don't tell people just to go out and eat a lot of salt because they're having leg cramps, but what you want to do is do lab work to see, is your sodium low?
Yeah.
Because if your sodium's low, that will definitely make muscle cramps. If
Sure will.
magnesium, sodium, calcium, potassium, they can all do it. That's why I say sometimes a multi-mineral is your best, like, broad spectrum.
All right. Thank you for the
Thank
call,
you.
Bobby. Well, we'll come back. We're going to take a little break and get a question regarding memory loss. So stick with us.
Ah, okay.
And welcome back to our Monday morning live edition of Healthy Living South Mississippi's Live Healthy, Be Healthy. This is Open Line Monday, so we invite you to call in with any question you have regarding a health issue. Diane called with a concern. She's taking gabapentin and is experiencing memory loss.
Well, that's one of the side effects.
Actually, it's one of the side effects, and what we'll recommend is talking to your doctor about that, because unfortunately, sometimes there's not necessarily something that you can take to treat a side effect if you're still taking the medication. So you might want to talk to your doctor about that, or even look for an alternative for whatever problem you're taking it for.
Yeah. Depends on what you're taking it
Exactly.
for.
Depends
yeah.
on what you're taking it for. And we never tell people just to stop their medication.
Oh, no.
But we do have something that we use for nerve pain ourselves, which is innocent, and it doesn't have that side effect, but it also don't make you feel, it doesn't make you loopy or anything either. So the innocent
you never know you took it and
does
everything,
actually help the nerve pain and does help with nerve regeneration. So it's actually a really good natural alternative that most people's never heard of before.
Yeah.
Okay. Justin from Pascagoula is on the phone with some questions. Good morning, Justin. What kind of questions do you have for the doctors?
Good morning.
Morning.
Yes, I have a question. I live in Pascagoula. I come over to you guys
Okay.
sometime, but you guys are so far. Is there any advantage of me coming there to get like vitamins and things like that? Because I heard that the FDA do not regulate vitamins. So
You're right.
would you guys products be more proficient than the
Well,
ones that you would get off the shelf at the store?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
To answer your question, Justin, sure. You know, the FDA does have some fingers into the vitamin business. Don't let them kid you. But on the other side of that, you know, if you're from Pascagoula, and we've got a lot of folks in Pascagoula, we got people in Ocean Springs, for goodness sakes. We got people in North Gulfport
That we
will
ship to.
actually call us and say, "Will you ship me a bottle of so and so?" Because it's easier,
Yep.
faster. Maybe
A lot
they
of
just
people don't realize we ship all over.
All over the country.
And the difference in our products is they are pharmaceutical grade, and so they are very tested, and what it says on the label is in the bottle. I mean, so that's kind of one of the differences, because a lot of the stuff they've shown, if you go buy it at some of the big box stores, is when they start testing these products, it's not really what it says. And so
Right.
you do want to know what you're taking, and you want to get what you pay for. But we do ship, and if it's over $75, it's free shipping. So
That's
I tell
true.
people if they, kind of stock up and get enough where it don't even cost them to call and mail order. So, and so you can call anytime. We ship, like
Oh,
what
yeah.
he was going to say, we ship to Gulfport actually, because people say, well, I work the same hours y'all are open, so they just get it shipped to them. So
Yeah.
we ship all over. So if you give us a call, we can ship you anything you need, or if you are in the area, you can come by.
Yeah, either one. Call us
Yeah.
anytime, though. Yeah.
And you can call us, and we can, if you have a question on something to see what you might need, you can call us and talk to us on the phone, and then we can ship it to you. So we do that as well. You don't
Yeah,
have
they
to.
don't even tack on that consultation to your bill. I mean, that's
That's
a
right,
great thing.
that's
I mean, the consultation is always free. That's the great thing about
right.
it over there.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much
Thank
for your
you.
call, Justin. 896-0713, 800-349-0713. Those are our phone lines. They are open to you. It's Open Line Monday, so you can call and ask a question regarding anything regarding your health, because that's what the show's all about. Trying to teach people how to live a healthier lifestyle. Of course,
Yeah. That's
it.
one of the big things we always come back to is diet.
Oh,
What's,
definitely.
what kind, not for you
Well-
to diet, but what's in your diet.
Right,
You're
exactly. And just, you were telling me about the research you read this weekend about insulin and glucose.
Well, yeah, it's, to us, it's
Well,
not
like
new.
we've always
but
said.
Yeah.
we've done this for years. But now, if all of a sudden it came out, and I think it was Case Western University published on it, and they said that, whoa, the best way to tell somebody what they need to do is to check their fasting sugar and their fasting insulin. We've been doing that for years, folks.
Yeah, it's our weight loss panel. Our weight loss
Yeah.
panel actually checks your fasting insulin because it makes a huge difference. If you have a high fasting insulin, you're not losing weight.
And you can have a high fasting insulin, and we have people all the time that come in and their fasting glucose might be okay, their hemoglobin A1C might be okay, but when you check that insulin, it's sky high.
Right.
And if you're in a fasting state, your body should not be producing very much
And if
insulin
it's
at all.
real high in the fasting state, you're going to store fat. So a lot of times people come in, and that's
Yeah.
one of the things that we see on the weight loss panel is their insulin so high, and you can change it. I mean, diet change is the best way to change the fasting insulin.
Well, it's the only way to change it. 'Cause-
Exactly, because if you keep eating
Yeah.
what you shouldn't, and all the sugar and the carbs and all that, it's not going to come down.
Right.
We have some stuff that helps. I mean, you can actually say, we have glucose support formula and berberine, which
Yeah.
do help with insulin. But the best thing is what you put in your mouth. And
That's right.
I think people are surprised sometimes. They come in our store and like, okay, what you got for weight loss? Once they change your diet, and they're like, I want to take a pill. And I'm like, oh yeah, it'd be easy if everybody could take a pill.
We're America. We take pills.
But we don't try to just sell people stuff just to sell it to them.
No.
We're really trying to help people learn to live healthier.
And and on that topic, a lot of times people are kind of shocked because I can get kind of blunt with people, just a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit. And somebody will say, well, what have you got for weight loss? And I say, the diet thing first, and I will explain how to eat, what not to eat, and so on. well, so you don't have any pills? Oh, I've got pills that'll help. But if you don't stop the diet, if you don't change that diet thing, then I'm not going to take your money because the pill's not going to work. Now, I don't care where you buy it, whether it's from us or anybody else, you're wasting your money.
Right.
But if you change your diet and get away from the standard American diet, which
And
really is
lifestyle
sad,
and be more active, and
Right.
there's a lot of things that you can do.
Sure.
And we tell people they really got to start taking control of their own health, because who else cares more about your health than you?
Yeah, along that same line, people talk about health insurance, and we got the big Obamacare. Now I guess we're going to call it Trump care or whatever. That's not going to do it. I mean, when you look at insurance, their job is last ditch. I mean, they are really
They
not
pay
into
for
yeah.
illness.
Yeah.
You need to take it in your own hands to have wellness.
Wellness,
And
right.
there's a difference. And we help people learn how to stay well. And
Right.
a lot of times you have to change things. I mean,
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you can't just lay on the couch, watch TV, and eat what you want and be healthy.
Nope.
Unfortunately, it
Ding-dongs
don't work
don't
that way.
Yeah, I know. I had a fit about that.
Yeah.
Used to love those ding-dongs.
Yeah.
Anyway, 896-0713, 800-349-0713. Our phone lines are open to you. We'll be back with this week's special in just a moment. And welcome back to our final segment this morning. We still have some time for you to call in and ask your questions regarding your health. This is Open Line Monday. Dion from Biloxi is on the phone. Good morning. What is your question for the doctors?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I got my first cold sore a year ago, and I am 67 years old. Since then, I've been getting them regularly. I treat them with lavender essential oil, but I'm wondering, is there something I'm missing in my diet or my vitamins that would prevent these cold sores?
Well, there's not necessarily missing, but there's something that you can take that really prevents them.
Well,
and
she
that
is kind of missing
Well,
it.
in case you are missing it, is lysine.
Yeah.
Lysine
okay. Uh-huh.
does wonders, and it's a very cheap amino acid, and it does wonders for cold sores. I mean, it'll make them go away in a couple days if you take enough of it.
But and that's a key, taking
enough of it,
Dean.
exactly.
One of the things that we have, because every once in a while somebody will come in and say they've read about lysine and some, because it's a herpes virus and it suppresses the lysine suppresses the growth, and they'll say, well, I take lysine, it's just not working. How much are you taking? Well, I'm taking 500 milligrams a day. Okay, take about 4,000 milligrams 2 or 3 times a day.
We usually go real high if you have a cold sore.
Right.
And then for prevention, maybe about 1,500 to 2,000 for
usually about
prevention.
2,000.
Because once you have that herpes virus, unfortunately, it keeps coming back if you don't have it. And the problem is our diet, a lot of times, is higher in arginine.
And especially if you eat a lot of nuts.
And nuts have arginine, which will feed the herpes virus.
And I eat a lot of
Okay,
nuts.
that's why.
There you go. Okay. And you're
That's
doing
why.
good. We don't want you
and
to stop
we think
that.
nuts are healthy, but
Yeah.
you have to, if you look at the balance of arginine to lysine in nuts, they're real off. It's
Right.
way more arginine than lysine, to where a lot of other proteins, it's equal. So that's why if people eat a lot of nuts, a lot of times they have to supplement lysine. But like I said, it's very inexpensive.
Interesting. Very interesting. Okay,
Yep.
I'll stop by your place this
Okay,
afternoon
sounds
to get
good.
some.
Because it
Thank
does
you.
Good
wonders.
deal.
Yep.
There you go.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for your call, Dion. 896-0713 or 800-349-0713. Our phone lines are open to you. This week's special.
Okay, yeah, this week's special, we've got something called Osteo Essentials.
Right.
And what it is, osteo means bone,
Bone,
okay?
yeah.
So it's essential for your bones.
And we've reformulated it, and then
We
we
did.
just got it back in, so that's
Yeah.
why we decided to put it on sale. And it really helps with bone density. And how many people out there have bone density problems? A lot. And
A
we
lot.
talk about on this show a lot about K2, and we mention a lot how important K2 is
Right.
for bone density, and it actually has 500 micrograms of K2 in it.
So it's got a big dose
So
of
it's
it,
actually
yeah.
a good dose of K2, and it's actually better to take it in combination with, and it also has your D, and it has really absorbable forms of calcium and magnesium. So
And while we're on this, there's one thing that, a lot of people out there come in and say, they've had their bone density checked, and, all of a sudden it's a little bit low, maybe not quite osteoporosis, but just the osteopenia. And they'll start taking massive quantities of calcium. And and some physicians will even tell them that. Don't do it. Some of the research now is saying, whoa, wait a minute.
right.
This is going to cause problems. And it showed that women, especially, they did a little study with women. It's been a few years ago. And since then, they've done other studies that kind of validated it. Women who took like 1,500 milligrams or more of calcium a day for any period of time, increase their risk for cardiovascular disease, which would be heart attacks and strokes, by 30%.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the
Yeah.
problem is people take this massive doses of calcium. They don't take magnesium with it. They don't take vitamin D with it, and they don't take K2 with it.
Right.
In our bone density formula, it's not that high
Yeah.
of calcium, magnesium. It
You
has
don't
some,
need it, yeah.
but it also has all your cofactors to be able to utilize calcium. Because if you don't utilize calcium properly, you can lay it down as plaque. And that's where the problem comes in. And just taking a very unabsorbable form of calcium and just massive amounts of calcium with nothing else is just not very good.
Yeah,
like you
it
said.
floats around in the bloodstream and just it can create problems. So you don't need huge amounts of calcium. I mean, honestly, they say somewhere around 500 to 600 milligrams a day. Added calcium is the most anybody would probably need. That's what the research is telling us now.
You were talking about something earlier, early on in the show about checking somebody's blood pressure and everything, check it standing, second sitting. When I've come in and had you check it before, you've had me sit there quietly for a little
Right.
while.
Yeah.
No talking, don't cross your legs or anything like that. So, I mean, what if somebody's going to stand up? I mean, should they stand up there and wait?
No,
No.
we don't. On
No.
on that kind of problem, what you do is you take it immediately on standing, because that's when they tend to get dizzy.
Yeah.
The person tends to get dizzy immediately on standing. So what you want to do is you want to first do it quiet, non-legs
Sitting
crossed,
down,
all
yeah.
like we usually do. But then what you want to do is immediately after you take that, then you stand up and then you take it again. And it should raise from standing up a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit.
Right.
And a lot of times you'll see people fall instead.
Yeah, sure will.
And so that's what you're looking for. It is pretty immediate. Yeah.
Okay.
And that
You
will
wait
make
too long,
you,
it'll go away.
Yeah.
Because normally most people say when they stand up and get dizzy, after a few minutes they're okay.
Yeah, because I always thought
They
whenever you
actually
did that, it was
normalize.
maybe your equilibrium was off just a little bit whenever you stood up and did that.
I mean,
well, it's because you're not getting enough blood flow to
Right.
the brain. Because
in
when
most
you
cases,
stand up,
it's
Yeah.
blood pressure.
gravity just tends to kind of pull that blood down.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you stand up, all of a sudden the brain doesn't get quite as good of oxygen
But like we
supply.
did mention, a lot of blood pressure medications will actually
One of
have
the
a
side
side
effects.
effect of orthostatic hypotension.
Okay.
Yeah.
896-0713, 800-349-0713. We just have a couple of minutes left. If you have a question that you want to ask the doctors, you're welcome to give us a call and try to help you out there. And we'll go ahead and mention next week, what are we talking about?
Oh, next week we're going to talk about something that's really, it's kind of a growing subject, so to speak, fatty liver.
Yeah, non-alcoholic fatty liver.
Non-alcoholic fatty liver. You don't have to drink to
So,
use this one.
yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's one of the fastest growing problems in the United States.
Fastest growing chronic condition in the
Yeah.
United States.
And they actually are even
Scary.
putting it as an epidemic.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Really.
I mean,
Wow.
it's actually a real problem. So,
So I guess we'll talk about symptoms and
Yeah.
all that.
yep, we'll talk about a lot of that. And
Well, yeah, we'll get into all that. What it is, what causes it, are there any symptoms, that kind of thing, until it's late. We'll get into all the details about it, because it's really, when you look at something that that's a chronic condition like that, and that they're now calling an epidemic.
Yeah.
They're starting to put it in there and say, okay, this is an epidemic. Then that's
Non-alcoholic fatty liver.
non-alcoholic
Yeah.
fatty liver.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Now I do want to tell people, if they will, go to our Facebook page
Yeah.
and like us on Facebook and become a friend on Facebook, and
Right.
you'll get information. And also, we have a website, doctorsnutrition.com.
That's right.
And if you ever have a subject that you want to, email it you can actually just from our website tell us, or on Facebook tell us. I would like for y'all
Or-
to talk about this, or you can actually send it
Send
to
it to
him.
him.
Either
Yeah,
one.
email it to me at
Yeah.
jtaber@wlox.com, and I'll pass it along to them. And as I said, because y'all post a lot of stuff about new things coming out, new findings
Right.
coming out.
Right.
Dr. Bull
Yeah.
is good about putting
Yep.
new stuff on there, new findings and things
Right,
that I've
exactly.
And studies that have come out that you might need to know about. Because like I said, it's hard to keep up with research, so we try to put out some stuff people need to know.
Yeah, one of the things that here recently that he posted was on statins.
Yes.
That you take for cholesterol. It was
Yes.
like,
There's a lot of
wow,
research
really?
coming out about statins and cholesterol itself, but that, like I said, that could be a whole show in itself.
There you go. All right, have yourself a wonderful week. Wear plenty of sunscreen.